Phil, simple question for you. You have a choice of 2 receivers to add to the Patriots roster. Would you take Cooper Kupp or Brandon Cooks?
I'm taking Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
I like what Cooper Kupp has to offer. And the Patriots do too. The question is, what's the number? And are they willing to go there? Because I don't think it's at any cost we want Cooper Kupp. That's not the sense that I get. It's this guy's a good fit for our room. He's the kind of human being we're looking for. We know what he is at this stage of his career. Is he a number 2 when he's on the field? Yeah. And could we use one of those? Sure. So, yeah, depending on what it takes, they'll be interested.
Don't you think there's a flaw in that approach?
The fact that they might not be willing to outbid the rest of the world to get the guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a flaw there. Pretty massive one. Because they were reportedly willing to offer something close to $30 million a year with Chris Godwin.
Right.
And we saw Diana Rossini report a couple hours ago that he is looking for $13 to $14 million a year, and no one is offering it yet. So, in theory, you could land Cooper Kupp and another receiver that is still available, whether that be Amari Cooper or that is Stephon Diggs or that is Brandon Cooks. You could sign Cooper Kupp and one of those other players and still be potentially less than what you wanted to offer Chris Godwin.
Yeah, I'd actually probably go Brandon Cooks. I go with those guy over those other 2 names that you mentioned. But your point stands. You could have Cooks and Kupp.
You could do both.
Yeah.
We don't even have to debate it, Zoe.
Right.
Not debate it.
A, Cooper Kupp. B, Brandon Cooks. C, just sign both. It's still cheaper than what you were going to do.
I don't love
Problem solved.
as a big Cooper Kupp fan.
Problem solved.
A fan of his game and a fan of his story and a fan of who he seems to be as a person, though I've never met the guy.
Yeah.
I'm a little embarrassed that the rest of the league is looking at him now after I know he's been banged up, and I know he's into his 30s, but you're basically asking him to be paid like Khalil Shakir or Gabe Davis or less than that, or Darnell Mooney. Like, the receiver market's gone a little nuts.
Yeah.
Have we not figured that out?
Oh, yeah.
And so Cooper Kupp, a guy who's got, an unbelievable resume, now in the later stages of his career, you're going to ask him to be paid like Alan Lazard? Is he that bad?
No.
No, he isn't.
No. So, can we be honest about where this guy's game is at and what he would mean for a locker room, whether it's here or somewhere else? Like, if you're telling me you can only pay him $10 million because he only deserves to be paid like Josh freaking Palmer, like, what are we talking about? He's not that toasted. He's not that done, in my opinion. And even if he is only playing 10 or 12 or 13 games for you, like, to me, there's still a ton of value in that.
Jerry's going to grab him. He's going to Dallas.
I'm pretty sure I saw Schefter do a complete 180 on that report
he did.
within about 5 minutes this morning.
Yeah, he said that's
not sure that's going to be the case.
Okay.
Not considered the likely landing spot anymore.
That's when he had it first, right?
I just think you have to acknowledge how much money these guys are making. And so, $18 million for Christian. Who would you rather have right now, Christian Kirk or Cooper Kupp?
Kupp.
And Christian Kirk's making $18 million a year. So can you not understand
You gotta
what
find a market then.
Cooper Kupp's asking price is?
Yeah.
I was in the minority, and I know why teams don't want to do this. I would have done it, especially in the Patriots position where they have as much money as they have. I would have traded for the guy and traded for his contract and paid him the money owed to him on his contract. And I know it's $20 million, and that's a lot. And, I heard Bert on, I think it was with you guys the other day, well, you have to negotiate off of that, and so then he's making $20 million a year. I don't know, do you? You could say, well, we'll bring you in.
But
We'll
you want more than
$20
1 year.
million for this year, and then next year the base salaries are coming down, and we'll take it year by year after that.
I understand what Bert's saying, but we'll trade for you, but we want to do the extension. Like, we want to make sure you're here, but it's not a rental. If you like the player,
I'd take a rental. Your room is, to me, the fact that you've got a spot for Javon Baker right now, and you're not willing to pay Cooper Kupp is completely incongruous based on what you want to be as a football program.
I also went to overthecap.com, which keeps track of the salary cap space and spending in the NFL. It's their only mission in life. They've got the Patriots number 1 still in salary cap space at $101 million. First in the league, number 1. That takes into account all the signings of the week. And then they've got this other column of active cash spending.
Okay.
Do you want to know where they rank in the NFL on that right now?
active cash spending. So that must include the signings they've just made.
The bonuses.
Okay.
All of the stuff that they're paying out this year.
Active cash spending. No, where are they?
They've got them third to last in the league right now. So if you've got it in your mind that because of this week, the Patriots have spent all this money and they're using up all the cap space. News update. Hit the breaking news sounder, T-Bone. Breaking news. No, they haven't. They're not even close. Bottom of the league in spending, top of the league in cap space. That's where they are right now. That's the reality. They have the cash. They can afford Cooper Kupp and all the risks that come with it at $13, $14, $15 million a year. They're going to be okay. They will.
I mean, just think about the premium positions they're still not paying at the top of the market, right? Like, they don't have a left tackle. They don't have a quarterback on a big money deal. They don't have a pass rusher right now outside of Milton Williams, right? He's an interior guy. They don't have that edge rusher on a big money contract. You could even look at corner, and I know they just paid Carlton Davis, but it's not a top of the market kind of contract.
So those are a lot of money, but
those are the expensive positions in the game.
It's not changing the course of their payroll.
Right. And so that's a big reason why they are where they are.
So my message is this: don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. There's a lot more money to spend and a lot more cap space to use up if you believe in that kind of thing. They've got all of it.
Would you be willing to put some of that money aside that we're talking about, whether it's for Cooper Kupp or Brandon Cooks or somebody else, and make a trade for Brandon Ayuk?
I'm not against the Brandon Ayuk deal.
Because that's going to cost money.
I don't feel like they're all excited about a Brandon Ayuk deal.
I don't know if they're all excited about it.
I mean,
but
he's a guy who clearly didn't want to be here a year ago, and so you've got to ask that question. If he wouldn't even call us back a year ago and say hello, or at least have the respect to say, appreciate you guys wanting me. I don't think it's a fit for me. I'm all set. He couldn't even bring himself to do that. I don't know how eager I would be if I were the Patriots to be calling them back and getting them out of there.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but what is he going to do? You're going to trade for him and he's just going to hold out? He's not going to play. Trade's a little different than where this, last year was a trade too, but he needed a new contract. He has the contract now. So he doesn't really have as much of a choice in the matter as he did a year ago.
And he's also injured now, though.
He is totally. I don't know if I'd be willing to do it. So I raised the question. It is a genuine question on my behalf. I don't know if I would do it. It was a name that was
I would not be
brought
eager to
me
make that deal.
When I'm calling around right before free agency begins, and I say, well, what happens if you strike out on the top receivers, and we start talking about trade targets? It was a surprise to me to hear Brandon Ayuk's name, but that was a name that was brought to me.
I mean, he just shredded his knee. I don't know. I'm not eager to call them on that one.
Unless I wouldn't be either, but they are where they are at that position right now, and they have all this money. So
unless
do you bet on the upside of him getting healthy and getting back to where he was 2 years ago?
Do you have to give up significant draft capital in that? I mean, you'd be doing them a favor right now.
Yeah, sure. If you take on that contract, I don't think the draft capital would be. So
it's just money?
Crazy.
Maybe I would because it's just money.
Would it be a middle round pick?
Yeah, right, sure. Like you want a fourth rounder?
Say it's a third. Would you do it for a third?
Would you rather have had DK Metcalf, though, or Ayuk?
DK Metcalf. Yeah, he's healthy. He's good.
And I don't know if Ayuk fits the profile for what they want. I mean, the guy did just skip out on all of training camp last year, and he, in some ways, I won't pin it entirely on him, he in some ways torpedoed their last gasp effort at a Super Bowl in San Francisco.
Yeah.
He didn't show up to anything. He got on the field. He immediately got hurt.
Took his shorts
and their
off,
season went in the tank. Like that's the timeline of how things went. We could argue over just how significant his injury was and all of that, but this is a guy they paid a ton of money to that they expected big things from. And they won 6 games last year.
I got to be honest, his money is super reasonable, though, the way it's structured. It's not bad.
Isn't there a bonus due to him soon that they probably would be asked to pay?
Give me a second.
There's some sort of guarantee. He does have an interestingly structured contract.
Yeah, $23 million, which will become guaranteed on the 1st of April.
The average salaries for him on his contract that he just signed last offseason is $30 million. It's $30 million per year. So, how that breaks down specifically, I don't know. But.
That included his signing bonus, so it's not quite that. It's like $26 million a year.
Okay.
Which is, again...
Still, he'd be your highest paid player or right there with Milton Williams?
It's not prohibitive money. It's not going to kill you. And my bigger question would be, is he going to be able to return to being the player he was?
Bingo.
That's really the more important question. And if they get If they obviously get a good look at the medicals and they think he's going to be fine, then yeah, I would probably do that. It's hesitation though on that knee, man.
Listen,
receiver who totally shreds his knee.
Personality part of it's big too. I mean, they have opted not to acquire guys that are big names who would help them on the field because they are not viewed as football character fits, and we can talk about those names later. But they have chosen to be less talented at certain positions, certain premium positions, because of the personality fit, and I don't know how that would work with Brandon Ayuk.
Still young enough. He turns 27 on Monday.
Hey, if you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand right here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.